One of the problems with this moulding is that I'm going to have to come down with my tool like this and probably come down like this. So I'm way below what would be a bench level here. So I need to have some way of lifting this carving up. I'm using a pattern maker's vise like this, but you need to find some sort of support that lifts it up, that allows you to get in at these sort of angles. And the other thing is, I've got it lifted up at a nice height for me to work, so I'm not crouched down and straining my back. So I've got my lines here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this V-tool, which is also called a parting tool because of what it's doing now, which is separating one part from another. And we're going to run it on this line. Now we have a choice of, do we run it on the actual line, or what I'm going to do is actually run it to one side. So my first cut comes from in the fillet here where it joins there, and it's going to come up, and we're going to come around so that the line is on the outside, or one side, sorry, the cut is on one side of the line, and it's going up and over like that. And this side of the line that I've chosen is with the grain, so this way is with the grain. And I'm going to tear a little bit, possibly, into that gadroon there. But it's still early days, and that's not going to be a problem. So I'm going to come up round like this, make my first cut, following the line, and when I come over the top, like that, I'm going to come down right over to where it starts going vertical. What we mustn't do is actually lose control and stab into this quirk down the bottom here. So I come up and around like that. And then I make a second cut over here with the next one. And because it's a type of moulding, I try and do the same cut each time with the same tool. So I'm only going to do a few of these just to demonstrate how they work. So I'd be doing this first of all. So there's my sort of like a preliminary cut, which just sets them in position. And I'll go back over, and I'm going to make this a lot deeper, still to one side of the line. On a hardwood you could use a mallet. Now the gadroon, what's interesting is it does come off this here like this, so you do want to make sure that's nicely, it doesn't come to a sort of flat edge here, they just sweep out from that line there. And depending on the wood, I can do this a third time and gradually make this division between the gadroons deeper. Now if that's tearing up a lot, especially down here, then I'm going to have to reverse that cut on this side so that the V chisel on this side is actually going with the grain on that part of the wood. So either I'll flip the carving round, or I'll swap over if I can get at it from the back here. But with this wood, I'm actually okay for the moment. So I'm going to run all those. Do a few more over here. It's quite tricky to do a curve over this convex surface like this. So it's quite a compound sort of thing that's happening. I'm using a softwood. If it was really hard, I'd have to use a mallet. But in the softwood, and most woods like lime or basswood or mahogany, this would work well. I'm actually pivoting a lot here, and I'm exerting a lot of control, and I'm just doing it in smaller cuts like this, as opposed to a normal long cut. So I'm taking little cuts like this, and each cut I'm trying to tune the one that went before. And here, from this low angle grip, as my hand comes up, I swap to this high angle grip, and I push this down over that side. At the end of this stage, you can see I've got strong V-cuts all the way through and down, and just stopping short of the fillet at the quirk rather at the bottom here. So keep them as equal as possible, but it is hand carved, so to some extent they will be slightly different. But as long as we get this nice fluid line and that rhythm, we'll be okay. The next stage is to make a little bit of shaping on this surface.